I've learned to be patient with myself, and that I learned early to have absolutely impossibly unrealistic expectations due to the homework alone associated with advanced coursework. I have all these ideas and vision, but not so much the skills to back it up. I've become more confident in my capacity to create and connect, as well as more sure of that which I believe needs to be advocated for. In some ways, it's like I've heard my own voice for the first time. I've become more comfortable and confident in my own skin. I've gained all this insight as the mentee to Damaris Webb, co-founder of the Vanport Mosaic. My mentorship has been in directing and producing. I've been working with Damaris for about 1.5 years now. In that time, I have contributed a number of skills, both old and new, to assistant producing the Black Panther walking tours, which are interacting with the spaces in which the Portland chapter of the Black Panthers operated via the guidance and storytelling of the founder of the Portland chapter of the Black Panthers, Mr. Kent Ford. And in directing the current production of Sold, I was the assistant director or co-director. Sold, The Economics of Our Black Bodies is a play this year produced on film, centering on exploring the many ways that Black people have contributed to the financial success of America. Some of the new skills I've gained have been in digital marketing, including how to work with various platforms such as Eventbrite and MailChimp. I refamiliarized myself with Facebook events because I haven't been active on social media in years. I have also now gained some experience with grant writing and assisting on the Age, Puffin, and Metro grant submissions, as well as writing the entry for the National Black Theater Festival. I came seeking directing, and I have done some directing for stage via film on Sold. I directed 3 of the pieces in Sold: Service, a piece focused on the manifestation of Black presence through the ages; Let America, a conversation about a poem written by Langston Hughes; and Grove of Strange Fruit, which brings the use of divide and conquer as it pertains to Black people back into the light. I also wrote Service and part of Grove of Strange Fruit. I think some of the most beneficial things about having a mentor are that you get new opportunities to try things you didn't think you could do, either because of opportunity or skill. And even better, when you try them, you have a built-in support system, someone to cheer you on when you're down or help you work out the details contributing to a crisis. One also has a prototype to use in understanding the world. I, for example, did not quite understand what was necessary to be a director other than having a vision and keeping things on track. I had no idea of what a producer did, and no research I did much helped make that make sense, what with the same word being used for many different artistic fields and them all ultimately meaning something not quite the same. Ultimately, now I can define for myself what I think the role of a producer is. The person who makes sure the business of the project happens, including marketing, press releases, appearances, and materials sourcing for video and photography content, and a lot of scheduling and contract management. amongst other things, but those are certainly the heart of the job. And regarding directing, I have learned that having a vision is not hard. Manifesting that vision, particularly when it is not yourself doing it, that is the hard part. For example, Grove of Strange Fruit, performed for this year's version of Sold, includes a letter penned long ago, basically writing out the playbook of Divide and Conquer. In my head, the actor was going to voice an uppity Southern farmer from bygone days, something akin to Rhett Butler from Gone with the Wind, but more in line with what one might call a modern caricature of a person no longer known or understood. Someone convicted of their beliefs, a bit backwoodsy and a bit snake oil salesman. What I got was a more refined gentleman of the times, someone with scientific knowledge and well educated, breaking down a method as disinterestedly as performing an autopsy to understand the cause of death. Everything is in an object, so emotion is misplaced. The two approaches say different things, and the second is somehow more human than the first. I realized in listening to his interpretation that despite my original conception, which was not wrong, but perhaps a bit over the top, that the reason we work together to create theater, like much of life, is that we do not have all the answers because we don't have all the knowledge. I got what I was going for. It just didn't sound the way I thought it would. It was a visceral reminder that knowledge is not in us, but between us. That, to me, is the heart of directing. Knowing the destination and shaping the route to meet the needs of all involved within reason. A director is still responsible for the vision, after all. This year's production of Sold, I hope, is a gift that keeps on giving for those who watch it, as it has been a gift that has given me much. From a new take on directing to challenges being overcome by the pandemic that has changed how we approach theater, it has been a challenge learning a new set of skills on the fly and shifting how one filters the world when there is a lack of expertise with that filter. I think this has been the most challenging and perhaps rewarding thing. Theater makers and filmmakers have an overlapping set of skills, but until you walk in someone else's shoes, you just don't understand. Learning to see the world as a filmmaker, having to edit the world in real time to remove what shouldn't be in the scene versus having a blank slate of a stage and only putting what belongs in the scene in has been a difficult but enlightening process. I have learned, by my own estimation, that I am a decent, though highly inexperienced camera person, strictly in my own estimations of my skill. Focusing continually on the whole picture and only having a few shots to get it right, one shot in many cases, is a tough gig. There is a lot of work that goes into making a movie easy to watch. As an activist, I've learned how to listen better so that I may hear the wisdom and experience exuded from others through more than just the words they say, or body language for that matter, but also in actions and the work produced from their experiences. I've also learned that I am rough around the edges in many areas, but learning and doing better every day. In my work with Vanport Mosaic, I am most proud of the pieces I have written for Sold, the pieces I have directed for Sold, being able to see and or connect with the problem and find a solution, and most importantly, I am proud for stepping up to skills I wasn't sure I had and finding that not only were they there all along, but that the problem was mostly getting out of my own way and my own head and a little need for cultivation. Hi, I'm Lynn Brusella Morella Wilson, and I approve this message in support of the Vanport Mosaic.